What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Moguls. My name is Findlay-Shirras, and on today's show, we're speaking with the CEO of Northrop Realty, who in 2016 was RealTrend's #1 producing team in the nation, doing, check this, 1,772 transactions, or almost 1,800 transactions, for a combined value of $765.5 million. Wow. When I heard that stat, I was just like, I've never seen a number that big. The team has a special focus on Howard County, who over the years has expanded to serve 9 additional Maryland counties, including Anne Arundel, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Carroll County, Frederick, Hartford, Montgomery, Prince George's, and Washington, D.C. He has more than 25 years experience in the industry, a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Maryland. So I'm really excited to get to know and learn from Creig Northrop. Thanks, Creig, for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So let's get right into the juicy stuff. How did you and your team do 1,772 transactions in 1 year? And when I think about, what you can help other people, because we got team leaders, we got brokers, we got agents on here, we got companies who want to serve teams and come up with solutions for teams to help them be more efficient. What was your marketing setup to get the client? What was your operational setup, to manage all the tasks and the workflows and the agents doing that? And what are some of that software and the technology that you use to do all this?
Well, it's a lot of questions all in one. Thank you. So first and foremost, building a team, I think, is important. I think we're much, again, being a team, first goal my wife and I had was to be the best. If you're going to do it anyway, why not be the best? So we achieved that 3 times nationally, for top team in the nation. And so the only way we got there, to be honest, first of all, is about the people. You got to have the culture. You got to have what we call it now, the community. You got to build a community you want to see internal in order to create it external. So with that means treating everybody, everybody matters, treating everybody, equally the way you want to be treated, create an atmosphere that you want to be part of, and make them all feel like they belong. And I think that's important as you grow. Don't grow too fast. You all live and learn that way, and I think from the standpoint of building a team, it starts with systems. And so what I did is every great business is really a company. You're the CEO, hence why we're talking here. So we wanted to treat real estate like a business. It wasn't just a hobby. It wasn't just a sport. It was really a business. So we created what I call now I'm old school, IBM approach to real estate. It really should be the new Apple real estate, but it's, but for now it's the IBM real estate. I haven't transformed that one yet, but ultimately with that, we had 5 steps, and this was, we had what they call client care coordinators. We wanted somebody to have the client experience to go from not only from the contract or listing contract all the way to close. So they are literally handheld all the way through with their partner agents. So the agent's very much involved, but the paperwork, the stuff that the agent doesn't need to do, is being done behind the scenes. So I call it the wizard behind the curtain, so that the agent can focus on the client and build that relationship, because that's really what we are, a relationship business. So the client care coordinator. So that was step 1. That was one of the departments. That's all they focus on. They don't focus on anything else. They don't care about what number 2 hand, the second finger's doing. They're worried about what they're doing, and they do it very, very, very well. Sort of the Ritz-Carlton of real estate, we call it. And then so the second one's the HMCs, home marketing consultants. They're the ones that take care of the property. They're the ones that sparkle it. They're the ones that put an MLS. They're the ones that basically do everything for the property to get it ready for the agent, so the agent can, again, focus on the clients and other clients and do more business. Then you have marketing. We have the top line marketing. We just brought in a CMO from Capital One, who runs the marketing department. And our marketing is top notch. It's clean, it's crisp, and it's complimentary. It's just amazing what we're putting out there. It's all professionally done, and our agents get all that benefit for free. There's no cost at all for any of that. And then you have the IT department. Everyone needs to deal with technology. Hence, I couldn't have done this without my tech person here today. So I joke about the fact that you have to have the technology, and then of course you have to have the salespeople. So that was the division of building. Before you could even go into sort of the next questions you're going, you have to build, sort of see the vision. You have to see what it's going to take, and then you build pieces of that. The foundation, that's your foundation. and then you start from there. So that sort of gave us the overview of it.
What's your goal now? I mean, when you think of you're an independent, are you the largest independent brokerage out there? Is the goal to now be the largest independent?
That's a great question. I don't know if anybody's actually ever asked that. So you get this on this, you're going to get this answer right here. Yes, the answer ultimately is I'm certainly not right now. Long & Foster was the largest independent brokerage in the United States, independently owned. Certainly my goal is to replicate that. They got bought out to Home Services, there, Warren Buffett's company. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so now they're not independent, ultimately. And so with that, ideally, yes, is to follow the footsteps of Wes Foster, who did a great job in his, and certainly has allowed me to grow. So we're partners with Long & Foster. So 85% of the people know Northrop Realty in our market, which is Maryland, DC right now, and we're expanding to other states. And then you have nationally, Long & Foster, great company, and we're very much proud to be partners with them. And then Christie's on the international side. So we cover local, national, and international. Really didn't want to be a boutique brand. I wanted to be a much larger independent. And yes, I'm going after being the number one independent brand out there. I will be. It's just going to take a moment of time because you have to first, you got to get all the systems now spread. You have to scale. You have to scale out now. And once you scale, you're able to sort of divide and conquer is really the ultimate.
So let's go deeper into that challenge section, because maybe there are, we have investors watching this, we have other startups with cool technologies and services. When you think about the challenges in scaling out, what are some of the things that you're experiencing right now that you're going to be solving? And maybe there's some people listening who said, hey, maybe I can actually help Creig solve this challenge for him.
I think it's a great question. So when we becoming the number one team in the nation, now we want to be a broker, which was our 1 year anniversary was yesterday. Very exciting. Thank you. And so what was neat about that is that we met, and once we announced it a year ago, we had 100% retention. So we took the same team's concept. It worked. Why change what worked? Mm-hmm. So the team concept worked. We were an all-inclusive resort and bring it across as a brokerage. Now as a broker, boy, I'm seeing, to be honest, and I say this to all, if there's brokers listen, you're not paying attention to your people. You just aren't. You're not involved as much as you need to be. I'm more of a player's coach because I'm on the streets and I'm there and I still sell. And I think it's so important to be involved with your people, make them feel a sense of belonging, and so seeing it from the other eyes, there's so much more brokers can do better. There honestly is. So we're mastering that. And I think as we scale, you can't forget where we were. You got to learn from the mistakes that we had. And now take the same systems and build them stronger with the people you have. Don't forget about them and make them better. And that's where we created what they call Northrop U. Northrop U is a 9,000 square foot training facility that will train only our agents. So Northrop Realty is the only agency to get top line training. Under Armour actually did it for University of Maryland for athletes. So we kind of modeled that thought process. And so we bring them in, we train them with all kinds of things. It's everything from the solds to good grades to tempo trainings to just top of the line psychology of selling training that no one else offers. And it's all free and complimentary, but it's just for our agents. So he keeps it exclusive for making them better, which if we make them better, it makes the client's experience better and ultimately makes the whole business better. And that's where the shift, the recession, any of that raises the level of professionalism out there. And that's what we're looking to do regardless of market.
So, scaling that training out, scaling that culture and the people attention, it's like I've got the systems. Now it's just how do I keep them working to the quality that they're working at a higher number? Is that...
It's a great thing. And yes, and what's beautiful is once you get there, it's plug and play. Everyone can plug and play. We had 17 teams that plugged and play this year, between the ones that came up new to the ones that came in. They literally can one day plug in like you plug in a computer and you're up and running with our company because our systems are so ready and so mastered and allow them to grow.
When you think about the last 3 to 5 years where, you've been able to achieve that top team status 3 times now, what were was it certain technologies that you added that made a platform that made you more efficient? Was it was it this training that really took the business to the next level? Like, what was those additions that you made that really made a big, was a game changer for your business?
It's like asking the secret sauce, right? At the end of the day, there's passion and desire first for all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination. We're not a technology company, we're a relationship company. We use technology to build relationships. So with that first, yes, we brought Salesforce. Salesforce is, we had to modify it because it's a big platform and make it real estate friendly. So we did that. That brought more buyer transactions, ironically. We were very listing heavy. So it brought more buyer conversions, and it brought us dashboards that shows goals and got agents more involved on that side. So first it was create the systems like the Salesforce. So we have a great Salesforce program that we use for all of our agents, complimentary. Then you had to bring the training in because again, it doesn't work without training them. And then it's really called Mindset Matters, where they have to believe in themselves, get past fear of rejections, get to the to how does it feel and look like to get to where your goals are. And we've been doubling most of their productions year over year because of that. So the combinations, good technology, education, good atmosphere, and or feel of culture or community has all three matters. It's not just one.
So what are your thoughts? That's interesting that you use Salesforce because a lot of people don't put the setup, because I use Salesforce, and so I know that there's a huge setup cost to make it great for your company.
Huge investment.
And a lot of people don't do that. Are you happy that you did that? Because there's KV Core, there's the property manager, there's all these new all-in-one real estate specific Salesforce-like platforms for brokerages to build their CRMs and websites on. How did you decide whether to go with a real estate specific company versus Salesforce, which is the biggest CRM in the world?
Real estate CRMs are limited. When you go with the largest one, Salesforce, if you want to be the largest, be part of the largest, right? That's my philosophy. But ultimately, we knew they were the right platform because they did so much more on the administration side. You're a company. You can't just focus on just, I don't say lead gen, but let's just say, database too. You got to put database, follow-up, systems. We have everything. Literally, I get all kinds of everyday daily reminders and I know what's going on with my company literally on my phone every day. It's a whole control center. And that's why Salesforce is so powerful, but it's an investment. And the companies that I've seen grow the fastest or been the best out there, and the Immins and the things that I go to are tending to gravitate to Salesforce because it's a bigger platform.
Interesting.
It does take a good investment. There's no question it's an investment. I'm not, it's not for all, but when you get it and you can really kind of teach it as what I call through an agent's eyes, not a tech eye. See, there's a difference between a tech person and an agent person, right? Tech is, hey, we can dive in and learn all the codes and all that good stuff. And an agent just wants to know, how do I get to what I want fast and make it simple? And I think that's really what's nice is my son has embraced Salesforce. So he's sort of taught how, through an agent's eyes, what do you need? What is it going to take? How Salesforce going to make it? And then what's it going to do to make a smooth process? And everything is so regimented in the sense of keeping us aware of what's happening. You feel like, the transaction, you feel like you're there when a lot of it's automated for you.
Have you got into some of the new technologies that are being layers on top of Salesforce, like the sales enablement and the sales AI? Because there's companies like Gong and Chorus. I don't know if you've heard of these ones.
I have.
And so have you? So now that you're in the Salesforce ecosystem, you got into starting to add some of these cool.
Technology is brilliant. Why can't we be like this with real estate? Think about it. They keep adding new things. It's amazing. We in real estate got to keep adding new things. So one of the things that we added, which I love, is called Leaderboard. Right. So Leaderboard in all of our offices. Okay, we have what they call the ESPN of real estate. So basically, every agent can kind of feel where they're ranking in the company every month in contracts, sales, and Zillow reviews. By the way, in Zillow reviews, we're number 2 in the nation. In Zillow, we have over 1,800 5-star Zillow reviews, and we're very proud about that. And I compliment Mar Spain in Georgia, who does a great job of that as well. And so with that, we found that between them 3 things, we can keep them focused. Obviously, sales, for the contracts and listings, and Zillow's, the competition of it all. They all want to see their name on the board. They all want to kind of feel, get there. And it really has been a motivational tool through Salesforce that we've been able to do. And our phone systems through Salesforce, everything that we do is through Salesforce. We do, there isn't anything Salesforce doesn't help run our company.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
very cool. Okay. So let's back it up and talk a little more about you and your story. So why did you become a realtor in the first place? You know,
Good question.
why do you
So
love it? Because your passion is just coming out. I love
yeah.
it. I love the energy.
Yeah, I love what I do. Honestly, I do it for the, I always do it for the sport, and I love just helping people. That's my first passion. And so I started when out of college. I'm a Terp guy, and University of Maryland, big fan of them. And so then I went into video stores. Actually, that was my first gig, and I was like just one of them attendants, kind of just the guy behind the counter. And I
Yeah.
always believed in doing over exceeding whatever I did. So I treated that job in particular, like a bar. To me, it was a bar. I got to meet everybody. I found their stories out. We're talking about stories. I got to learn who they were. So within 6 months, I became manager of this thing called Video Outlet back at College Park. Then my mother found an opportunity where I got to own my first video store. And the first store I opened with ET and Top Gun, that's how old I am, as sad as that is. So it was kind of interesting, but I'll never forget that. I love movies, so you should own something you loved, right? So that was sort of where I got my business side. And I had a bell on my door that everybody would walk in my store, and I wanted that bell to ring every 1 minute, and I was going to find a way to do that because my philosophy was that bell was business, right? So whether I gave them something free to bring them in, whatever it was, my goal was to make that bell ring. So that's where I started getting the business side of it. And then my mother had been in real estate, and she was the one, she's a great person. She was she was 3 times for Coldwell Banker top agent and Coldwell Banker, and they didn't have
Wow.
teams back then. So I just helped join her for a little while. And then in 2000, my wife and I sat at a park bench. We'll never forget it. And we said it's time to go on our own. And so I had to compete against my mother. So my hardest competition in my life was competing against my mother because I had to earn it. I was never given it. And I had to earn the right to really, if I could beat, and I would say beat her, but really kind of achieve my own name. Because in real estate, it's about the name and the brand. And so 2 years, it was interesting. My mother's name was on one side of the door. I was on the other. You had a choice. You can go at one door or the other. It was that crazy. It really confused the public, to be honest. It wasn't healthy to do that, but you have to earn it. And this is what we did. So I competed. Finally, my mother said, if I can't beat him, I'll join him. And so then she joined us. My wife and I were at that time the Craig Northrop team. And so then after that, we kind of just kept growing and bringing people in. And so we grew and we kind of scaled with, we had, for every agent we hired basically 2 administration. We were very much about customer service. So we were growing in that scale so that we always made sure that we had the service to cover the agent.
Every one agent, 2
Two,
customer
two,
service.
two. Yes, it was 1 to 2
Wow.
average. Yes, and because listen, the thing that lacks in real estate is customer service. I can't get some agents even return calls. That bothers me. You can't show up on time. That bothers me. These are simple things. Professional address. That bothers me. These are just different things that they're simple. They're not even the so
Yeah.
the challenge was, if I created a great customer service atmosphere, you'd want to be, that person that kind of keeps up with like-minded people.
What was that what was that conversation with your mom? Like, come on, mom, just join us. Just join us.
No, it was actually to the point where I got to say it was a Thanksgiving dinner. Never forget it. And my wife and her husband, which is my stepfather, stand up and said, "We're not doing this anymore. You got to figure this out." And we did, and it's really been the best relationship ever now. And again, I love my mom, but
Yeah.
you have to also prove it yourself, because you get a lot of these stories or things are given, and people have all kinds of stories. The point is we earned it. My wife and I came up with systems. We created as a business versus just waiting for the phone to ring. We went out and got the business. We learned relationships matters a long time ago. We realized foundation was important. We created a safe, secure, successful environment for people to come, and they were growing. And that's really what happened. Is it grew to the point where if you came on our team at that point, you were growing your business and you were making a difference in the community. And with all that understood, hence is where others gravitate to you.
So when you talk to people now about you and your team, when you talk about maybe your superpower as a CEO and as a company, what are the things that really come to mind for you guys?
When I talk about it now, I mean, again, I think it's important to be around people that have already done it or have, at least experienced it. So no better person to teach how to build teams than somebody that's done it. That's sort of what I've
Hmm.
explained. So
Hmm.
when we first Real Trends came out in 2005, I actually been thinking, Steve Murray. I was saying, come on, you need a system because everybody's number one is something. I'm getting sick of hearing this across the nation. So all this stuff. Let's really put a system together. So Wall Street Journal and Real Trends came up with the Real Trends that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so the first couple of years, I was number two. My wife and I were number two as Craig Northrop team. And so what we did, which is what I advise everybody to do, is we flew out to California, met Ruth Pugh, who is a great, great lady. She says, buy or die, you either buy or you die, basically, either you're either going to buy with me or you're going to, I'm going to follow up until you do. And
Yeah.
then there was Monaco, who actually made a TV show. He was more of the model kind of guy and did all the
Yeah.
models and all of that. And then you had a guy, the Jills down in Coldwell Banker. They were great ladies, really enjoyed them, just great partnership. And then Ryan Serhant was one of the others. Now, unfortunately, I've been ahead of Ryan Serhant, but I learned a lot from Ryan. Ryan is definitely an up-and-comer team there. I admire him. I think he's definitely doing some really good stuff. And so, and I appreciated us opportunity spending some time with him. So I learned, and what I actually learned by meeting every one of them is they're not doing anything different than I'm doing. They're just doing something different. Find the difference, implement it in your business, and then just make yourself better. And then we became number one in the nation and never looked back.
So they're just, when you say they're just doing something different, what was that something that maybe you guys
Something
chose to
different.
do?
The better follow up. Ruth Pugh was better follow up. And Monica was all about the show. He was the show side. The Jills were all about quality of product, which I loved. And it didn't say we didn't do it. We just got to do it better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Ryan was much more about the social side, the media. He's got the media, sort of the angle, and he's got the interaction. So each one of them brought a piece to us that made a difference, and we incorporated literally that year.
And then what's your something different? What's your thing?
Something different for us, honestly, is hands-on coaching. I think is very important. I think getting coaches outside of your area isn't what I recommend. I recommend somebody on the ground. Somebody that's been doing it. I'm a big fan of players coach. Players coach. How can you teach what you don't do? I think it's tough, and I think a coach from a stands is tougher than a coach on the ground, and that's really one of our philosophies. And so with our agents, they feel very comfortable having me in their backyard, covering their back. They have questions or whatever they need. Now take that same team mentality and make it a broker. Never happened. I don't see any broker being that engaged in their agents at all. It's sad, guys. You guys sort of ran away. You said good luck, and they really are saying, well, good luck to you as well. I mean, it's a sad thing, but brokerages are changing. The traditional model is not going to work anymore. It's just not. It's definitely changing.
You're leading from the trenches. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the industry and the changes that are happening. Right, there are new technologies. There's new companies. There's the iBuyers. There's the Redfins, the Purple Brickses. There's new brokerage models. Compass raising all that money. What are the changes that you've made, maybe in the last year, to take into consideration that this change is happening, and this is what we got to do to make sure that we're still winning? And what are some of the changes that you're thinking about making in the future to make sure that you are adapting with the times?
Okay, so biggest thing that we found, the I buyers, I call them we buyers because I think it's important, more important than I, right? So we buyers is about building relationships, and I think relationships matter. So one of the things that we've done a lot bigger, and I acknowledge Buffini, who I think does a great job in that, and we have incorporated his systems as well. Remembering that touching your databases. Let them know, we don't treat a client like a one transaction. We treat a client like a 5 to 10 transaction client for life. So we're very much about doing something different. The customer delight. When you go to a restaurant, you love that where they kind of give you that little treat before your dinner, and then the treat afterwards. You remember that. It's the same philosophy in our real estate practice. We're going to treat that experience that you're going to remember us. And you can keep in mind, only 12% of buyers or sellers use their agent after settlement. Only 12. So guess what? You guys, you agents out there listening, you're giving me 88% of your market share. And I appreciate it because I will follow up. I will be talking to them and they will feel the customer experience year over year. And I think that relationships matter so much that if you can have that sort of, like I say, clients become friends, employees become family. And if that kind of helps you and builds your community, not the distractions, the disruptors, all that, not going to matter because the community is not going to be disrupted because it kind of community stays in what works. So that's what wins. I mean, what wins is, they want to call you back because you're that person they go to, whether they need the plumbers, like, whatever that servicers are. They want to come back to you because you give them the extra service. They ask me about how the market is. I joke every time when I go to meet a new person. Hi, my name is Craig Northrop. They go, how's the market? I say, well, nice to meet you too. They all want to know sort of these questions. And so you become that authority. And if you build the community right, you have nothing to worry about A buyer, B buyer. It's funny. At Inman, they said red bricks. I thought that was funny. The red tin and the purple bricks. I thought that was a cute little analogy. And, the answer to a lot of them is, do you want Uber to sell your house? That's the question, right? And in real estate, Uber is great at, if you call them up and you go to the airport, do you care who your driver is? No. But if you want them to sell your house, you want to call an Uber driver to sell your house? I wouldn't. I'd want somebody that want to take care of me, know and negotiate for my best interest, and not be paid by the hour for it, paid for the transaction and not get paid until they sold the house and did their services of satisfaction and then give them a 5-star review. That is good service. That is quality. And that's what will survive in the real estate market, regardless of the trends.
It's so funny. So I was talking to Matt, the other team leader there today, about the UK market because he's got a presence over there. And I couldn't believe that there are literally Uber drivers who actually go sell houses. Like there's no licensing, there's nothing. And so literally like people just everyone's an agent. Everyone can be an agent. And so do you think about international expansion? Like what are some of your things when you think about the opportunities in the future?
Well, what's funny about that? I just got somebody ask me, will you go globally? I'm like, listen, let me tell you this. Knowledge is confidence, confidence is trust, trust is a sale. If I don't know it, I'm not going there. Would need to learn that markets. I'm not just going to be that Uber driver over there that's just decides to do Uber or real estate on it every day, whatever clicker works today. I'm not like that. So we are very much about a brand that matters. And so for us, it's all about knowing our areas. We are going into Delaware. We are going into we are in DC. We're going into Virginia. You've heard of this thing called Amazon. He was all over the news this morning. So Amazon, right? Amazon is, has come into to Virginia, and we are going to be right central, right next to Amazon in Northrop Realty, along with Long & Foster, hence why we partner with them, has the account for all the Amazon for the relocation of them. So hence, these are the smart things that you want to sort of worry about than whether I care about the UK and what their market looks like right now. I'm not trying to go to a market I don't know at this point. Do we have systems that could reproduce over there? Certainly, but we're not ready for it. We haven't mastered it here well enough to really do it, and own your backyard the best you can before you ever consider expanding. That's my advice, because everybody gets really sort of expand happy fast. And you expand happy fast does not work ever. It just doesn't. It's not expandable that way. Master what you have. Then once you master that weight, move to the next level. But until you do, don't.
What is your thought about Amazon and that, and they're coming out with a real estate division and a mortgage division and the model that they're proposing? What do you think about that? And
I think I embrace, again, if you keep your community strong, you have nothing to worry about. Again, limit distraction, feed the focus. But Amazon brings a new element, right? They're bigger than the Zillows of the world and the others, and so I would, when this finally, we're getting threats of that, but we haven't heard any real sort of substance to it yet. But if it does, me and Mr. Amazon will be meeting together and talking about what it looks like. Because I'd like to hear his vision. I'd love to see what his vision of real estate looks like for him.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so we have investors who listen to this, and they're looking to invest in winning technologies and winning companies. So if you were a VC, what are some technologies that you think are going to be winners in the future, and companies that you think will be winners in the future?
I think remodeled brokers are going to be the winners in the future who focus on relationships and their agents better. Create a better agent experience, and I think that's what's going to make the model better. I think the iBuyer thing's going to go in and out just like a trend. I think it can't sustain. There's 3.5 agents out, 3.5 million agents right now out there. In the recession, it went down to 1 million. Now, nothing personal, but in 2005, you could have been ahead of lettuce selling real estate. But when it gets tough, you have to step up, learn better, get trained better, and be better. So I think the evolution of brokerages are going to evolve to the ones that make everyone matter theme, where it does matter to work there instead of just another person on the wall or a person there. Know their story, know who they are, know their name. And that's going to be my advice to the brokerages that are going to sustain. And then on the other side of the coin, and teams, I think teams are important. Team leaders, and lead by example. Be the example you want to be. Don't be a team by name, but by nature. And what I mean by that is find a company that supports teams, because I've heard a lot of traditional brokers are not supporting teams, and then have them help you grow. And I think it's important to be around that atmosphere of growth. If your broker doesn't want you to grow a team, it's very hard atmosphere to grow a team. It's not a place for you to be. You need to be in a place where growing is evolutionary, and I think that's what I see in the future. So the companies out there, I think Compass is in the marketing, it's a shiny penny. I think it's a fine company. I'm actually complimented by the fact that investors want to invest so much money in our business. Thank you. But at the end of the day, the theme of making money outside of the residual of selling real estate has never, ever sustained. Sell more houses, make more money, build a team, make more residual income. They're really the two ways to make the most money in real estate. Warren Buffett, richest man in America, one of them, he made it in real estate. Buy real estate, sell real estate, and then do a team. Are really the three successful ways of gaining or incredible wealth in our United States.
Dude, this has been awesome. If people want to get in touch with you, to connect with you, to learn from you, to join the Northrop team, how can people reach out?
So certainly see Northrop at northroprealty.com or just northroprealty.com. They can reach me on my website. And you can also, my phone number, 410-531-0321. Always willing to help, always willing to listen, and always willing to guide.
And the first person to give their cell phone number, which means they truly want to connect with people. That was awesome. What a great way to end it. Thank you so much, Creig, for being on the show. As always, guys, if you have not subscribed and you want to be great in real estate, subscribe so you can learn from more real estate moguls like Creig. And I'll see you next time.